How did you think babies were made before you got the talk? I had absolutely no idea. I never even really thought about it. Then one day I paid my older brother $2 to tell me what having sex means. He told me. The next day, I went to school and told my friend that I knew how people have sex. He was like, I don't know that, but I know how people make babies. Then I said, I'll tell you what sex is if you tell me how babies are made. He told me. And then I said, oh man, it's the same thing. He was equally astonished. I really like how you were bartering for information with your own information. Setting up a little spy network in the school. Kissing? Not a little peck, but like making out. I always got scared when actresses made out on screen because I thought she'd get pregnant lol. Same here. I saw a doco which showed sperm swimming through the vaginal canal, and I assumed it was swimming from one mouth to the other. Exactly the same for me. I just kinda assumed you couldn't control it lol. I thought parents went to a magical place on earth and met Jesus, where he used a green clay to make the child when the parents watched. When he was done with making the child, a purple glitter would surround the baby, and he or she would suddenly become fully colored and ready to be taken home. I don't know how I got that idea. I think drugs may have been involved. I never got the talk, as my parents just assumed I would find out myself, which I did. I knew that sex existed, but I used to think kissing allows pregnancy to happen and didn't know you needed to put the penis into the vagina until I realized high schoolers kiss all the time and don't make babies. I did know the process of pregnancy though, and that you need to get the baby out of the stomach. High schoolers get pregnant almost as much though. No idea, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do once they were made. Username checks out. I wish I had gotten here earlier. Username also checks out. I thought when a guy peed, sperm would come out and attach itself to the inside of the toilet. Then, when his mate came to pee, the sperm would jump up into her vagina like some kind of terrifying alien parasite and impregnate her. I'm sorry, but what the fuck? The concept of the talk really was only introduced to me via American TV shows. Sexual reproduction is something I picked up on as I grew up, just like that there are other planets and that dogs and cats are different species of animals. I don't recall having any prior theories about the origin of babies, but I do recall that I thought men and women had to leave their genitalia connected overnight in order to procreate. Men just plug the penis into the vagina and they have to lay next to each other while the woman downloads the sperm. Yes. After all, people called it sleeping with each other. So I figured it was a very slow process. I thought the balls were like eggs or something, so when a man and woman have sex, the man would basically insert a ball inside the woman and it would grow up to be a baby. I always thought a man could only have 2 kids and any families with more than 2 kids just adopted them or something. Just reading this fucking ouch. Ball just ripped off to make a kid. I'm squeamish AFRN. I know it sounds like it hurts, but when I was little, I thought the balls just floated around and not actually be attached to anything lol. I lived a kinda-shelter life as a kid. I never got the talk, nor was there anybody I could really ask. I knew an egg was involved somewhere, and growing up in the country I knew they weren't like chicken eggs. So, I figured it happened when heavy-duty French kissing happened. The egg would come up to the guy's throat and into the woman's mouth, and she'd swallow it, and 9 months later you had a baby. Thinking about it, I've seen horror movies like this. Alien? My mom said you get pregnant by getting married. My cousin got pregnant and she wasn't married. My mind exploded and my mom told me to drop it. Long story short, I was convinced her kid was Jesus. I can't believe how shitty so many parents were about this in this thread. Okay. Well. I was really into biology as a kid. I knew about sperm and eggs and the zygote and how it multiplied and all that stuff. But I thought the sperm just kind of floated from the guy to the girl. Like just being around men would get someone pregnant. I distinctly remember thinking that our cousin shouldn't stay too long in case dad got her pregnant. That, of course, did not happen. Or did it? No, definitely not. I always thought that a woman had to go to like a building each month called a period, and that if they didn't, they'd magically become pregnant. I thought they just started to magically grow inside a mommy's tummy when she decided she wanted a baby, then when they were ready to come out they just kind of came out of your belly button. Same. I thought women became pregnant magically after a year into marriage. And when I first got the sex ed I was like, ooh, they did that. That's the problem. My mom had 5 kids all 2 years apart, so I assumed every 2 years women got pregnant. And they came out of your butt. I thought that if a woman eats a lot, the food in her belly would somehow turn into a baby. I remember my mom telling me this when I was little. Probably your little mind confusing correlation and causation. I was an early reader and my father was a doctor, so I found out pretty early about copulation and vaginas. But my brother used to suck his thumb, and my parents told him that if he continued his stomach would grow very very big. Fast forward a few years and we were on the bus and there was a pregnant woman there and my brother looked right at her with very white eyes and said in Swahili, "Tumbo yako ni kubwa. Ninajua cheni unafanyanga," which is roughly translated into "you have a big stomach, I know what you have been doing." My mum was horrified. This wins. Laughed so hard I woke up my kid next to me. I thought God put babies in women's bellies after they got married. I thought that was why the story of Mary and Jesus was such a big deal because God put the baby in Mary's belly before she got married. I never really understood why God couldn't have waited a few months for Joseph and Mary to get married. Or until she was an adult. Peas. We had peas for dinner one evening, and when we were done eating my mother went immediately to the hospital and had a baby. It made perfect sense to me at the time, so I didn't eat peas for a very long time just to be on the safe side. Makes sense to me. I knew it involved the penis, but I didn't really get the sperm part. So I thought the guy had to squeeze one of his testicles through his dick to impregnate a woman. It sounded painful, and I knew it made no sense because my uncle had 4 kids, and I was fairly sure guys only had 2 testicles. Eventually we had sex ed in school, and things made more sense. Ferb, I know what we're gonna do today. You are the best human being alive. I type a lot of effortless garbage, so it's nice to be proud of something now and again. Mom told me it was a special hug parents did. Yo bro, check the girl over there, I wanna specially hug her. Oh my god bro, she's so damn specially huggable. You can't be special friends without a special hug. Or you can, but it usually doesn't last very long. I never got a talk. I was explained from the age of a toddler where babies came from. From the bellies of women. Later was explained that the father put seed in the belly of the woman. Later they explained that the father put it there with his penis and into the vagina. And so step by step, year by year my knowledge grew in terms I could understand as a small child. So I never had a strange idea about how babies were made, and I never really had a talk. Just questions being answered when I had them throughout the years growing up. I'm happy my parents did it this way. Just answer your kids' questions in an age-appropriate way, but without lying. Met an adult woman who bragged about telling her school-aged child that they went to the bean store and picked out the most perfect bean and then swallowed it to make her sibling. Just why? Kid eating baked beans, oh fuck, I'm a monster. I asked my dad what the deal was with the birds and the bees. He said he would tell me when I was older. I guess I'm not old enough yet because he never told me. I'm 55. Too young. I never got the talk and was raised Catholic and went to a Catholic elementary school. Needless to say, there was a lot of misinformation and a lot of confusion. I honestly believed that an angel just went skidly skidavy, you now have a baby, and just yeeted a fetus into a mother. It was grade 7 or so before a few research-based Google searches showed me the truth. Yeetus the fetus. I don't think I did think about it much before then. I got the very basics when I was like 4. We lived by a farm, so I'd go out and watch the animals. Naturally, I saw them get busy meowing then, and I at some point asked my mum about it, and she told me when a man and a woman, or a bull and a cow, want to make a baby, they make lovies. They put their bodies together in a certain way and move in a way that feels good. Then the man gives the woman some liquid, and she has an egg inside, and those two make the baby inside the mom. She then let me know it was something only grown-ups should do, and used that as a segue to talk about letting her know if anyone ever touched me in that sort of way, or said anything that made me feel uncomfortable, etc. That sounds very well done on her part. She was a smart lady. Not always a perfect mom, but she always tried to treat me with respect as a person, even when I was a small person. So simple you can illustrate it with IKEA. How did you think babies were made before you got the talk? Subscribe and save a life today. I love you.